And good morning. Already Wednesday as we move into the middle of the week. I'm so glad that you joined us. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Otis is alive. He's over there wearing orange today. Looks like a big traffic. Oh, he's going to blend in with the pumpkins this morning. Join us, won't you? We got a great show lined up coming up at 7 a.m. with all the local headlines and events that's been going on. In just a moment, we'll get into some of the stuff that's happening around the nation. What is making our nation today? What's going on? We'll tell you all those details in just a moment. Let me move this over here on this side of the screen. Won't be looking everywhere where I can see where y'all are at. Crescent Lake is joining us. Good morning there. Janice, Matt Green, all the way from Clarkdale. Guy Coughlin. Ooh, Charlotte Gray also there. Quitman is in there. James. So glad to see y'all. I want to remind you the Mississippi Highway Patrol Office in Meridian will be opening up this morning at normal times. They had another huge water leak yesterday. This time it was outside. I think the previous time it was inside the building. This time it was outside, but they had to shut down due to lack of water yesterday. That has been repaired. Another thing that we want to remind you about, North Hill Street at Northcrest Baptist Church, that is to be treated as a four-way as of late yesterday afternoon. That was still set up with stop signs. Kind of catch you off guard if you're not used to that. We do have some wet streets in the area, and we got a wet forecast ahead for you, which means school buses are rolling. There's 18-wheelers out there. Leave early. Don't drive fast. Drive a little bit slower than you normally do. Get there on time by leaving early. Does that make sense? I hope so. Even if you're late, heavens, as long as you get there. We'll be right back as we get our day underway. We go now to Collinsville. Don't forget, he'll be joining us tomorrow. Brother Ben comes in tomorrow, as we'll find out what he's got going on. Dr. Alan Brown will drop by tomorrow as well. He's got some great news to come in and tell us. He'll be at something. Yeah, we got all that coming up this week. Let's go to Collinsville now.
You know, a lot of people, especially young people, have dreams and aspirations to be famous one day. Some of them are rather ambitious and they concoct a plan to climb to the top, whatever it is they're pursuing. They plot and scheme and claw their way to where they want to go and don't really care who they have to knock down to get there. It's them against the world. They simply by force will their way to the top. Now that's one way, but that's not God's way. God's way is for you and me to simply be faithful to exercise with excellence the gift that He's given us so that others take note and promote us upward until we are before great men. The Bible says in Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before the great. So beloved, in a world filled with self-promoters, you don't have to be a self-promoter. Self-promoters are often not what they bill themselves to be. They're typically not self-aware. Their oversized egos exaggerate their greatness. And in the end, they look foolish. No, it's better to let your gifting do the promotion for you. Remember, Jesus said in Luke 14:11, everyone who exalts himself will be humbled. Don't tell people how great you are. Simply do great things and trust God that your gifting will make room for you and lift you up, bringing you before great men. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. Y'all be amazed how a smile just changes the world for you. Try that today sometime. Right now as we begin our day, we're 71. We're only going to get 10 degrees higher. 81 is what the high is, but we have a 70% chance of showers in the forecast. So be ready for that at any given time today. Wet stuff out there. Temperatures will be cooling. We've got the forecast right around the corner. I had almost forgotten all about this. Do y'all remember something back in 2020? And this is what, 24 now, so this has been 4 years in the making. There was a Biden bus going down, I think it was in Texas somewhere, going down the road. Supposedly a Trump train got in front of it and slowed the bus down. Believe it or not, there was a lawsuit over that. No, I'm not kidding. It was. I remember it being in the news, but I had totally forgotten about this. Well, out of the 6 people that were charged, one has been actually charged. The guy that was in front that slowed the bus down, and the bus driver that was driving the Biden bus has been awarded $10,000. I just thought I'd tell you all that, but it has been 4 years in the making, and that's the headline this morning. charging with harassing someone and slowing the bus to a crawl. Oh, well, there we go. Do y'all remember the Colorado grocery store killing, where a guy goes into that Colorado grocery store, he killed 10 people? I do not agree with this. He's getting a life sentence, and that's it. What about the 10 people
Who ended their
I always had that eye for an eye. I sometimes worry about who makes the decisions. It makes others want to do the same because, well, there's nothing to fear, doesn't it? That's like sitting in a corner or getting a spanking. Which one has a larger effect? That's my two thoughts. Now, this one, Odie, how well would you be? How much did you watch the TV show Friends?
very little.
Very little. I watched it. I didn't watch it at all while it was on. I think it was in reruns before I started watching. Pretty good show. It was funny. They're going to be starting a TV show, a game show. Oh, yeah. And it will be themed after that, where you have to go through mazes and then ask trivia questions about the show. I don't think I've ever heard of that being done before. So, well, that's coming after 30 years there, the 30th anniversary. You know, I was sitting here thinking that about Andy. But why Friends? I don't know, but that is coming. That is in the works there. If you just got to be on there. Remember that we talked about this show the other day, Modern Family. It's different, if you'll remember and I didn't watch the show but one or two times. I do know that it had high ratings and a lot of people watched it. But the two men that were married to each other, Modern Family, they were a little upset when they didn't get offered a TV show when that show ended to carry on their lifestyle. It was pitched and no one would take the show up. It didn't happen. Thought you might want to know that also there. Modern Family. This I 120% agree with. The Senate has unanimously passed a bill guaranteeing the same level of security, Secret Service, for Trump, Biden, and Harris. Two are presidents. One is running for president. All three should have the same protection. I agree with that 100%. I don't understand why that wasn't already a thing. We have people in Florida that are having to evacuate. You know what we're talking about, as we'll get into the forecast in a moment and show you exactly where the hurricane is expected to make landfall. It's still a tropical storm by this afternoon. It will be a Category Level 1, then moving on to tomorrow afternoon before coming ashore as a Level 3. I think 121 miles an hour. We'll look at all of that in a few moments. But people are evacuating as this storm comes in. A Level 3 is huge. This will be a big storm as it comes across. I am not anybody out there that's like an Edward Jones financial type person, or do you work for a bank? I don't see where this could be wrong, but analysts are criticizing it. How many Americans have something on their credit card? You either some people put their groceries, some people put their gas on there each month to pay it off, while others struggle a little bit hard. When times are hard, you lean on your credit card to get by. But what happens to where you make a payment and it really doesn't go toward the principal anymore and you're just paying interest? It puts Americans into a spiral. Now, I don't remember what the average is right now. Is it 20-something percent, 21, 22% or
right
more?
20%.
20% for a credit card. I do remember way back when it was up to 27% or so. How could you get criticized and say that you would hurt the economy by forcing credit card companies to drop to 10% on this? That's one of Trump's plans, that he'd like to drop that. Would that help Americans? 10% charge on that and be a cap on it where credit card companies couldn't? I've always looked at it when someone is down on their luck, that people that move in on this and overcharge someone who is broke.
That's probably what put them in the first place.
That's just bad. It's wrong. It's taking advantage of Americans, I've always felt. 10% is a fair, I think, for everyone across the board. They make some. You're able to make your bills. But how could that be bad? Again, I'm not a financial analyst, and someone who does this for a living would have to explain to me how that could be. That's one of the headlines this morning there. The Idaho man that An Idaho man has been charged. He made threatening calls to Mar-a-Lago against Trump. He's been charged with threatening a president. Not good for him. The gentleman, let me back up. I just said that wrong. The man, let me say it correctly. The man that was accused of the golf course of the assassination attempt has been officially charged with an assassination attempt. What you probably didn't know was they've arrested his son also after federal agents went to the home. They've realized that his son has now been arrested for child sex abuse images. Runs deep in that family, apparently, doesn't it? We have a 10-year-old boy that's been arrested in Texas. 10 years old. Made threats against a school. I'm not even sure how to follow that up of who, what, or why. Is it the family, the lack of going to church, being taught right from wrong? I don't know the answer to that. We talked about the girl yesterday, if y'all remember, Sam Bankman-Fried. You remember him? Started that FTX company that went bankrupt, stole millions from people. The girl that was his on and off girlfriend, CFO, was going to court yesterday. Now, she worked with officials and sang like a stool pigeon, isn't that what did they call what was his name? Was it Dole? I'll have to think of it in just a minute. But she's saying she's only getting 2 years in prison for her role in taking billions from hardworking people. The list goes on and on. I'm not done with stories. There's so many more that are shaping America and where we go. Next, we'll do that forecast to get this day underway for you. Keep your eyes wide open out there, y'all. We'll be right back with your forecast in just a moment.
Al's Garden and Gift, a charming place to harvest memories and gifts this fall. Gather a bountiful selection of pumpkins in a variety of colors and sizes. Capture curb appeal. Enhance an entrance or outdoor living space with beautiful mums, snapdragons, hay bales, corn stalks, or a handmade wreath. Make game days and tailgating even more fun with Captain Rodney's. Savory spices, grilling sauces, gourmet jellies, and Mississippi cheese straws too. Come fall in love with all things autumn at Al's Garden and Gift.
For something as vital as your eyes, you should have your lenses and contacts made with the utmost care and precision. And that's what Grayson Optical does on 24th Avenue. Since 1996, Grayson Optical's mission has been to provide Meridian and surrounding areas with quality eye care products. That's why we're locally owned and operated. And don't forget, custom-made sunglasses like Costa for your eyes only. When you need to see clearly, Grayson Optical, 2021 24th Avenue, Meridian, 601-693-6374.
Welcome back. As Odie and I were sitting here talking about that credit card thing, as student loans, think about that, of how the interest piles up and piles out and how people can't pay. One thing leads to another, and then it all falls apart. But it also goes back to being able to plan. Don't buy stuff that you can't afford to begin with. Americans are notorious for this. Just because your neighbor's got a boat doesn't mean that you're in the same, what is the word I'm looking for? Same stage of life to where you can afford it. Everybody seems to want it now. Now, they see it on television. What was it back in the day? The Cribs. What was that show? And everybody... Pimp My Ride, but a lot of people see the fancy cars and the things and they want it all at once. Take your time. Have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Let's go to radar first before we get underway with our weather, our detailed weather. It's raining. We want to warn you, I-20, as we pull this up now. Let's go to Meridian Honda radar as we zoom in on this. Look at this rain around Meridian right now. Highway 19 south, if you're going out to the Vimville, if you're going out to Wynot area, be careful. As well as coming in from Clarke County, it's going to be heavy rain. But to our west, y'all look at this. I-20 at the Lauderdale County line into Newton County. It is cutting a rug right now. I-20 is heavy rain. Highway 15 south is a lot of rain. And also as you'll travel right here, look at this, on Highway 503 out of Hickory, the rain that you're going to encounter. Now, as you get into Jasper County, look at all of this rain here. Montrose, Lewin, these areas here. Let's turn on some locations where you can see a little bit better now where the rain is. As you get right here to Paulding to the courthouse, pouring rain there. We've had several wrecks at that stop sign. Y'all be careful there. Back over here as we go down to Lewin there, Bay Springs at the Jasper General Hospital. Y'all be careful there. All of those areas, heavy rain. It's just south of Newton, light rain in Newton right now, but it lies in between Newton and Meridian, pretty much starting at the Veterans Cemetery all the way to the Lauderdale County line. Lots of rain there. Look at this back over here in Smith County. We got rain approaching Newton County. This is going to be coming across Ortho. You'll have that in about 26 minutes as we go north. Kemper County, Noxubee County, flooding. Light stuff there in Neshoba County, but as we get into Kemper County, all in these areas here, look at this. As you get right there at the Damascus Volunteer Fire Department, up to Highway 16, 495, 493, those areas, and as you reach Highway 397 rolling into DeKalb, and South 39 and north, by the time you make it to the four-way stop in Scuba, it's going to be rain all the way till you get past the lumber mill there in Sugarlock Lumber. A lot of rain, even out to Bennsville. We've got it to the Bama line at Geiger, Alabama. Use caution. It's a lot of wet stuff out there. Drive slower than you normally do. We want you to get there in one piece. Look at this as we look at Alabama here from Cuba to York to Livingston, all along I-20. It's going to be one big rain all the way up to Bolagie, Alabama. Rain just keeps moving in those areas there. Tuscaloosa has showers as well. So if you're traveling east out of Meridian, be careful. West over to the Newton area. More rain planned as we track this weather throughout the day. All right, let's see if I can get this geared up before we get into our forecast. And that's not going to work. I have to start it in another place. Yeah, from the beginning. All right, let's do our forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Those record highs, record lows, we go back to 16. It was 99 back in 1990. It was a cool day. 45 was that low. 90 had several days of record breakers. Today's forecast is you'll see the Meridian area has more rain, just as it's showing right now over to Newton County. We have some there in Jasper and Clarke County as well, up to Kemper. Looks like a high of 81. We'll see 80 at Columbus Air Force Base. Should see 81 right there around Mississippi State as we make it to the river. Greenwood there in the deep Delta area all the way down to Natchez where it'll warm up a little bit. 84 expected in Natchez today. We'll even see 87 down around Hattiesburg at USM. As we go east into Bama, Demopolis should see 81 and 77. Birmingham, Alabama, look at that. Auburn, the Tigers, will see 79 today, and down to around Dothan, we should see around 81 is what we're expected. Normal temperatures expected here as we look at our next 6 to 10 days, but California still warm back in that area. As we pull up our 7 days, here we are. 80 to 81 today, and both and all radars indicate that it should be about a 70% chance of rain today. We're into the 70s for Thursday and Friday, 78 tomorrow, 77 on Friday. A bigger chance of rain tomorrow at 40%, decreasing to a 10% from Friday all the way through the weekend. So we should have a perfect weekend for whatever you're doing. And there are a lot of activities going on from Marion all around the areas. We'll tell you about those. As we look to next week, 82 starting out the week. As we go another 10 days, we don't get past 81 all the way through October the 9th. Starts you make thinking of hay rides and things of that nature. We'll have sunny skies, but 80, 81 for the high. Kind of perfect weather there. We can't complain about that, can we? Now, as we look to the fishing forecast brought to you by our friends at J&J Auto Sales, here we are. Our major time to fish this morning is going to be at 7:30. It'll be good till about 9:30, so make way for that. Carry a raincoat. You could get wet. Some on-off showers there. It'll be way around midnight before you have another great chance. An afternoon minor time around 3:30. If you just got to go after work, 3:30 to about 5:30 should be fair. We won't give it the best, but it is fair as we look at the fishing forecast for today. Let's look at this, and then we'll go back to our chart as we talk for a moment about what's going on as Florida prepares for what is coming. As we pull this up, here's what we have this morning. This is increased to an 80% chance. That's what we're looking at here. This says a 20% chance, but Helene, right here, looks to be moving forward at 69 miles an hour. Millibars at 991, moving northwest at 10 miles an hour. Now let's go back and pull up radar and show you where she is this morning and when she will be turning into a cat. That's pretty soon. It's going to happen today. All right, here's what we've got as we go to radar. This morning, as we mentioned right now, that's not it, is it? I clicked the wrong thing. That 63 miles an hour, gust of 75, moving along at 985 millibars, moving northwest at 9 miles an hour. By this afternoon at 1 o'clock, this will move into a Cat 1. It will be a Category 1 with wind speed of 81 miles an hour, gust of 98. As we look here, Thursday, this moves to a Category 3 at 1 o'clock just before it makes landfall. We're looking at somewhere around 121 miles an hour, gust of 150 miles an hour as it comes ashore, makes landfall. And this is our best guess. These are the spaghetti models. Let me turn off the spaghetti models. They're pretty much all agreeing at this point. Let's look at where we've got the eye coming in. Right here, this you see Tallahatchie. Here's Apalachicola. Right here, Woodville is up there. As we click here, this is going to be somewhere around Spring Creek, Florida, headed directly toward Tallahassee as it makes inland. There's Tallahassee right there. And this will make its way straight up into Albany, Georgia from there as it crosses out of Florida for that. So everyone along, and here we've got, let me turn this on where we can tell you where all our watches are. Some days things work great. Some days it takes a moment for me. Hurricane warning has been issued. All of this dark red area over here all the way to Cedar Key. All of Sarasota, these areas have it. Back to our west here, Navarre, Destin areas is a tropical storm warning. As we get to Biloxi, the best we're going to get out of that is a small craft advisory. Again, somewhere starting here around Destin, Navarre, east is where it will pick up in Apalachicola, Florida, to get real bad. Cedar Key all the way down to St. Petersburg. It'll change there at Port Charlotte, turning into a tropical storm warning as this winds of this east will come across. And again, remember, if you're on the east side of the center of the storm, is always worse than it is on the west side. There's going to be a lot of rain. I'm sure that's going to still come through the Gainesville area that's just east of there. But this will be that line there. Madison, Valdosta, Georgia, Thomasville, all of this, Tifton, Douglas. These areas here will be getting wet. Even Waycross, Georgia, will get some heavy rain out of this storm as it comes across. I've had a lot of questions of does this affect Mississippi? This is the most we'll get some rain in Tupelo. This misses the east Mississippi side of Mississippi and the west Alabama side. From Montgomery east to the state line will be in the cone of this. But again, that's still on the west side. It is Mother Nature. Could this move a little west, a little east? It could. But it's pretty much being defined now. We're 2 days away from this making landfall, and that's what we have. If you've got friends and neighbors there, check on them, make sure that they're A-OK. Offer them a place to stay if they need a place to get out of there. As always, we'll keep you up to date with the latest when it comes to these hurricanes and where they are in relation to where you live. And all of that. Now, we're getting ready for the morning show. It starts at 7 o'clock, as we'll bring you the local headlines the way they are. That's up and coming. Won't you join us? I certainly hope you will there. Sandra, good morning. Good to see you. Arnold is there. Sandy Johnson, Kathy, Jimmy Ivy. Thank y'all for being a part of our morning show. Again, we go live in roughly about 4 minutes. We got to make some coffee to make this show, well, watchable. It wouldn't be any good without it, I promise you. We'll be right back. The selection has always changed. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn location.